Hello students, we have already covered two practical chapters of class 10th, that is HTML and Python. After this we are moving to chapter 1, which is Internet Basics. So as the chapter is theoretical, I am covering all the definition and concepts in points to make it easy for you to learn. Moreover, it will always be better for you to learn and write your answers in points to score good in your board exam. So let's start. So first definition is internet. The internet, sometimes called simply the net, is a worldwide system of computer networks. The internet is a global system of interconnected computer network, as you can connect with internet all over the world. It is formed by interconnection of thousands of small networks. So when you combine these small networks, it forms the largest network, that is called WAN. So your small networks may be your PAN, LAN, CAN, and MAN. And when these small networks combine in large number, it forms the largest network called WAN. So this may be your common question in your board exam, that why the internet is called network of networks. The internet is a collection of billions of computers that shares the information. And the users commonly use their smart devices like smartphone, laptop, desktop, smart TV, notebook, PDAs, and tablets to connect with the internet. So one more point you can add in the definition of internet, that it is not only the collection of millions of computers connected with each other, but it also a collection of many hardware devices which helps to transfer your data over the internet. So these hardware devices may be a switch, bridge, router, firewall, gateway, repeater, etc. When your system is connected with any network, it is called workstation, and when your system is not connected with any network, it is called standalone computer. So simply, your internet uh, is called is called the hardware architecture. You can say the hardware architecture which helps to transfer your data worldwide. So moreover, you can show the internet like this. So these are small networks which are forming the complex web, and all the systems are connected with each other. Moreover, on left hand side you can see the small networks are connected through wire medium, and on the right side the small networks are connected through wireless medium. So you can show the internet like this complex web where all the systems are connected with each other. All the hardware devices are working to transfer your data over the large network. So let's have a look on some advantages and disadvantages of internet. So these are some common advantages of internet, where you can use your internet in a more productive way. You can learn 4 or 5 points to write in your board exam. And some disadvantages are, so these are some common disadvantages. So again, just learn 4 or 5 points to write in your exam. So let's move to the next topic, that is www World Wide Web. So the idea of World Wide Web was proposed by Tim Berners-Lee in March 12, 1989, through which we can start retrieving or storing data in multimedia format. It means before the concept of www, just imagine that you are accessing any website and there is no multimedia content in it. Means no video, no audio, no graphics, no images are there. So your website will be so boring and you will not be able to stay for long with your website. So Tim Berners-Lee helps us to make our content more interactive and more interesting, so that we can work more and more with the internet. So the World Wide Web, which is also known as web, is a collection of website or web pages stored in web server and connected to local computer through the internet. So whenever we will access any content through the internet, it will be in the form of multimedia content. User can access the content of these websites from any part of the world using their devices. And www along with internet enables the retrieval and display of text and media to your device. It means the internet is forming the hardware architecture, and www providing us the information in multimedia form. So the web provides the communication platform for user to retrieve and exchange information over the internet. One more important question for your exam. What is the difference between internet and www? So internet is a global network of networks, while the web, that is called World Wide Web, is a collection of information which is accessed via the internet. So internet is hardware architecture which helps to access the information through www. The internet is infrastructure while the web is service on the top of that infrastructure. So the most important service which we are using today is the accessing of information through internet, which is given by www. We can even think of the internet as hardware. Simply you can define the internet as hardware and web as software. www form a large part of internet, but it is not the internet. So let's have a brief look on the history of internet. So the internet was initially known by the name ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network, which was created by four universities: University of California at Los Angeles, University of Santa Barbara, University of Utah, and Stanford Research Institute, connecting together in 1969 by US Department of Defense to transfer the information or to connect their computers with one another and use this network for their own purpose. So this continues for decades, and one more network evolved, that was NSF, National Science Foundation, in 1980s, which was designed especially for academic research purpose. And no private network are connected with NSF, but later on some more private networks evolved and finally merged with ARPANET and NSF to form the largest network, that is called Internet, in 1990s. So this was the brief introduction of history of Internet, and you can write in your exam. This is the common question which may be asked in your exam. Now let's see what are the attributes of www. So www supports multimedia content to be shared on internet, and it makes our website more user friendly. We can share any multimedia content. It makes our content more interactive, and it also supports frame, which allow us to display our web page in multiple sections, and each section can be used as independent page. So the frames are also supported by www. So these are the main attributes of www. So let's move to the next topic: client and server. So client is any machine or any computer on internet which sends a request, and server is a machine which fulfills the request. So when we are working on internet and we are sending some request for any content on internet, we are working as a client, and the machine which fulfills the request of the client are called server. So we have millions or billions of clients and servers working together on internet, which are sending and fulfilling the request. Thus the client and the server are working on the basis of client-server architecture, which we can show like this. So we can see here the server is interacting with multiple clients at the same time, and each client is sending their own request, and server is fulfilling the request accordingly. So all the clients may submit same or different request to the server, and server sends the response page or the content back to the client. On this client server architecture, the internet is working. Now, server and web server. In layman language, server may be any local machine which is connected with number of clients but not connected with the internet. Whereas a web server is any server which is fulfilling your online request. So this is the difference between web server and server. So just think about your lab, your school lab server, which is connected with many clients but not connected with the internet, and is still fulfilling the request of all the clients connected with it. So what are the services provided by the server and web server? So let's have a look on the services of server. So resource sharing means when you connect any device or anything like printer, plotter, or maybe it's hard disk, you can share it with your clients. Moreover, as all the data is available on server, your data is set to be centralized and you can share this data with all the clients. Further, we can say the data is available on server, so no need to scan all the clients individually, but we can do virus scanning on server machine only. And we can take the backup of your data from server as everything is storing inside the server. So this image is showing the local client server architecture, where number of clients are connected with the server. Everything is stored inside the server, and server is fulfilling the request of multiple clients. Now web server. So when your server is connected with internet and fulfilling your online request, your server is called web server. It may be your Apache Tomcat, IIS, Jigsaw, Sun Java, etc. These are the different name of some web server. Its services are, it always serves the content in the form of web pages. So whatever you are receiving from internet, it comes in the form of web page. It controls the access to server. It means only the authenticated users can access the server for specific data. Login access control means when you want to log in for any account, you must have your username and password with you. Server-side scripting is programming which works on server side, and it helps to receive your request and send back response to the client. It all done in or through HTTP protocol, and your request and response are called HTTP request and HTTP response. Similarly, when the client is sending request online after connecting with the internet, it is called web client, and when your client is not connected with the internet, it is simply called client. So you can see the working of web server like this, where your browser is sending request, that is called HTTP request, and your server is sending back your response, that is called HTTP response, and your server is connected with files, which is called database, where all the data gets stored through web server sent by the clients. The next topic is website, web page, and home page. So this figure is representing the hierarchy of interconnected web pages in a website. That is how the web pages are connected with each other in a website. So the topmost page is representing the home page, which is the first page of any website, contains several links to visit other web pages linked with it through the system of hyperlink. Website is a collection of interconnected web pages designed with certain goal in mind. So when you visit any website, it is designed to achieve a specific goal of an organization, and to make it available to everyone in the world, it must be posted or stored on computer, that is called web server. So if you want to publish your website, it must be hosted somewhere on internet. And if we define web page, so we can say any digital document. Why we are saying digital document? Because anything that we can see on computer screen is all digital. So it may contain any audio, text, animation, video, or anything, or any multimedia content inside it. So we can say simple, web page. Web page is a digital document which is available on internet, which contain multimedia content. Now, components of website. So the first one is web host. Web hosting is where a website is physically located. So we will call the group of linked web pages of a website only when it is hosted on a web server. Now URL. Every website has its own unique address so that the user can access it easily, and this is called uniform resource locator, that is URL. Homepage is the important component of website, which represents or which contains several links to visit other web pages. Design is very important part of your website, as it gives the overall look and feel of a website, and it only decides how much your website is interesting and interactive for the users. Content is what we want to share with the users. Navigation structure define how the web pages are connected with each other in sequence means how you can access the web pages one after the other. Now, component of a web page. So we can have component of a web page in two different ways. It may be content wise or it may be structure wise. So content wise, we can have hypertext, means any multimedia content which may have text, images, graphics, video, sound, and hyperlinks. And other part is hyperlinks, means navigational links which are used to access different pages of a website. And structure wise, we have page title which appears on the title bar of the web browser, header which defines the purpose of the web page in one or two line display at the top of the web page. Body of the web page appears after header part and it contains the actual content. Navigation links lets you to visit different web pages of a website, and footer section usually appears at the bottom of the page, which we can use for copyright notice or any contact information, etc. Now hyperlinks. So as we have already done, hyperlinks are the navigational links which lets you to visit different web pages of same or different website. So these hyperlinks may be your text, graphics or any image, clicking on which you can access different web pages. And web portal is a specially designed website which offers broad array of resources, which brings information from diverse sources like email, online forums, and search engines together in a uniform way. It is an entry point or gateway for using the offered web services. So the example of web portal may be Yahoo, MSN, India Time, etc. So simply we can say web portal provides us the entry point to use different web services. So no need to go anywhere for different services. It contains different links itself of different web services. So web browser, or simply called browser, is a client software for accessing information on the World Wide Web, that is from internet. When a user requests a particular website, the web browser retrieves the necessary content from a web server and then display the resulting web page on the user's device. The example of web browsers are Netscape Navigator, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Mosaic, Opera, Safari, Linux, etc. So the web browsers are of two types. One is graphical web browser and other one is text web browser. Now, graphical web browser. So it works on graphical environment where we can work with multimedia content like video, audio, images, text, animation, etc. And we can work with the mouse as well as keyboard to point and click on graphical components. These browsers are available for Windows, Linux, Apples, etc. And we can download and install graphical web browsers in our computer. Example of graphical web browsers are Netscape Navigator, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Mosaic, Opera, Safari, etc. Text web browsers where we can access only text-based content from internet, and we can have only keyboard to work or to move in four directions using arrow keys, and links are accessed using enter key. Nowadays they are not in use, and Linux was one of the popular web browser. Now blog. The blog is refers to as online journal where the entries are posted. The word blog has been derived from we blog. A person who write and maintain a blog is called blogger, and art of writing blog is called blogging. So we can have four different categories of blogs. One is personal blog, news and views blog, company blog, and microblog. So let's start with personal blog. So most of the blog in internet are personal blog. Bloggers keep posting their stories, events happening in their day-to-day life, such as fishing, dancing, or anything. They are all personal blogs. News and views blogs. This type of blog contains factual stories about news and is maintained by professional journalists of companies such as BBC, etc., who post their stories and views about latest event. Now, company blog runs blog to let their customers and client to know what is going on in the company and to give the information about the product coming up or in progress. Microblog. This type of block can be created as personal block but with the limitation of maximum 140 characters. Tweet is the best example of microblog where only short comments are possible. Each entry on Twitter is called tweet, and this type of block is used to make commentary about one's life and interest. Now, advantages of blog. So you can write anything that interests you. No technical knowledge is required. Easy to add new post. People can leave comment on your blog. You can read any people blog on internet. And disadvantages of blog. It happens sometime when you send post in anger, you might regret later. Sometimes personal blog may be biased or contains inaccurate information. Blogs can be time consuming. People may be rude or send inappropriate comment on your post. There may be there are many dull blogs which contains no or inappropriate information. Now URL. So URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Each website or web page has its unique address on net server called URL. So the example of URL is simply http colon double slash www.microsoft.com. But if we look on its component, we can have protocol, subdomain, domain and domain suffix, directories and web page. So have a look on each component. So the first one is protocol. HTTP or HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol or Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It lets the browser to know which protocol is going on to use to access the information specified in the domain. Subdomain www is not compulsory, it is optional somewhere. Sometimes we no need to write www in your URL. Now domain and domain suffix, it is domain name for the website or the name of website. It is used to identify the type or location of the website. For example, .com is for commercial and .org for organization. Directories are the folders where your website is stored or located on a web server. And web page is the actual page on the domain you are viewing. Now let's have a look on DNS, domain name system. So it is a naming scheme by which servers are identified, is also known as domain name system or DNS. So some DNS are .com for commercial firms, .edu for educational firms, .gov for the government organization, .mil for military, .net for ISP network, .org for usually for NGOs or other NFL, .co for listed companies, .tv, .tv channels or companies. And some country domains are AU for Australia, CA for Canada, DK for Denmark, FR for France, IN for India, and then Japan, NZ for New Zealand, UK for United Kingdom, and US for United States. Now protocol. So protocol is a set of rule or procedure for transmitting data between electronic devices such as computers. In order for computer to exchange information, there are pre-existing rules which decides how the information will be structured and how each side will send and receive it. When we access information from internet, different servers work for it and depending on the type of information such as to access file server, to access mail server, to access web server, to transfer file, FTP server, to access news servers are working, and on each server different protocols are working on it. So all the servers use different mechanisms to serve information and thus different protocols work on different servers. For example, on FTP server, file transfer protocol, Gopher, TCP/IP protocol, HTTP server, HTTP protocol, mail server, POP protocol, and SMTP protocol, news server, and NTP protocol. So for different server, different protocols are working to transfer different type of information accessed by the user. Now Usenet. Usenet is a collection of user-submitted notes or messages on various subjects that are posted to servers on worldwide network. Each subject collection of posted notes is known as newsgroup. There are thousands of newsgroups and it is possible for you to form a new one. Newsgroups. Newsgroup or forum is like a community bulletin board. You can post a message, reply to a message, or just read message. When a user sends a message, the news server posts it for everyone to read and reply your message. Group of related messages are known as threads. Now the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol and HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. HTTP transferring information without any security and HTTPS transfer information with SSL that encrypts and send information over secure connection, making it hard to steal. HTTP used to send non-sensitive information and HTTPS used to send sensitive information. HTTP used for blog, entertainment and journal articles, and HTTP used to send login detail, bank detail, payment detail where the high security is required. For HTTP, no additional technology is required, and for HTTPS, additionally SSL certificate required for secure exchange of data. So this was all about your chapter, which is prepared for you to learn in easy way.